If you've had a really good time learning a few things at the Future sessions until this point, this workshop is going to be completely different, because instead of sitting back and listening to some people talk, you guys are going to meet each other. You're going to be talking about mobile first, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I think it's going to be really interactive, but you're going to have to think and you're going to have to work. At a very basic level, mobile first means that when you're designing a mobile experience, instead of taking your desktop site and figuring out what to cut in order to go from 400 words or many links on your homepage down to just a few that can fit on a small device, that you start designing for mobile by thinking first about the mobile audience, by uniquely building up from what those audience needs are. The principle behind it is just focus on your mobile audience and their unique needs as a design process. Don't think about your desktop site and thinking about what you need to cut. When we think about mobile first, we're not just talking about the smartphone, we're also talking about tablets. And ultimately, there's a philosophy related to mobile first called progressive design. The principle behind that is it's easier to build than to cut. So if you're going to do an entire redesign of your website from scratch, the best way to go about doing that is design for your smartphone, then think about what to add. What more can you do? What additional features or capabilities are there on a tablet compared to a smartphone? And then ultimately, progressively, think about what it is that you can do for your desktop.
The topic that I'm going to talk about is really not so much from the technology side, it's more just the communication side. We're, as an agency, and as you know, this is a terrible word to use, but we're kind of a broker. We're in between. We're thought leadership. We're holding the client's hands. And when terms like responsive design, mobile first come up, we have to educate. And a lot of times there's some politics that we have to deal with on the client side. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And I find it really, really fascinating. There's not a lot to debate about mobile first. I mean, there's some, but it's here. And I think from an agency perspective, we're very excited about it. However, to go to a client, to get budgets, to deal with the silos that are sometimes existing on their side takes a lot of education. So the very first step that we have to talk to our clients is, it might seem ABC to the folks in here, but that this is not the web, and that this is the web, but this is really, really not the web, that this is the web. And this is moving at lightning speed. Everyone knows about that. That's why we're at Future End, to try to get a competitive edge. But to explain this to a client takes, again, a lot of hand-holding. And a lot of times, almost all the times, these are capital expenditures, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to build these web assets. And I think we've learned over the last decade or two that you're building like a Frankenstein after a while. You spend all this money, and we're trying to keep this sucker, relevant, and keeping this web asset, web page, or app working 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years after it was built. And again, it turns into Frankenstein, and we have an issue there. What we try to do as progressive agency types in this new era is to build assets that are more malleable, that will last longer, and they'll get a better ROI. When you have all these different pieces of hardware and platforms to deal with, it gets to be a challenge.